Hi, welcome to Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. This is our episode number 6, The Power of Words.
It's all about the vibration that's in every vocabulary you speak, think, and act upon. And it's a question we want to lead you with for this particular show. It is, are you being hypnotized on purpose or shitnotized by default? You will get the answer right here. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Lyu.
And you're going to be tuning into Coming Out with, us.
Liz and Eddie.
Okay.
Oh, God. So in the spirit of...
Oh, yes.
This entire telepathic podcast will strictly be no words.
Exactly.
Because that's how we play.
Uh-huh.
So in the spirit of every word has power.
Yes.
Every word has a frequency and a vibration.
Yes.
What would you say that you personally do every day when nobody's around to amplify the power of your words so that you create a better quality of life?
It has more to do with my feeling sense.
Yes.
So I check in with myself to see where I'm at. And if I feel that I've been a little bit too distracted and I have been a little too sour or upset about something that really it doesn't mean anything, then I bring myself back to center. And then I feel good. And I start with the word love. I start with the word kindness, beauty. It's so funny. My guy that I work with, he said, once beauty leaves the house, something dies.
Oh.
And he told me that this morning. And I thank you, Artemis. And so that was really important statement. And as I thought about it this morning, I realized that is a truth.
It is the truth.
It is the truth.
I think when I think about the power of words, I started to term it pow. I started to term it.
Pow?
I was going to say power of word lullabies, but it is pow. Ta-ta?
Excuse me.
Is vibratory vocabulary.
Uh-huh.
Every word has a vibrational output.
Absolutely.
And every word.
Yes. I know I say that all the time.
It'll be a theme with us for everyone. Every word, thought, action, speak has a independent vibrational frequency for everything because every word has an association historically with you.
Yes.
Even new words you don't even know yet will. The newer the word, the newer you replace an old word with, the newer word that you replace the old words with, you're going to start having some of those graceful moments that you speak about when you use love and kindness.
If I can interrupt, which I will.
Yeah.
Because everything has a unique energy signature. You have a unique energy signature. I have a unique energy signature. Everything has a unique energy signature. Again, as we talked about in our first podcast, we did mention that each of us we are spiritual beings experiencing physicality. So let's say we've passed on and we're moved on to the other side. This is how they recognize each other, through the energy signature, because they don't have bodies.
Yes. And Dolores Cannon, in her many books, she talks about one of your significant energy signatures when you do leave Earth and you leave any planet throughout the universe, because it's not just Earth, but when you go out into the universe and your physical apparatus is no longer with you and your spirit's out there and you meet other souls, as it were, each soul has this encrypted frequency and this sort of visual vibe to it, electromagnetically speaking. And whenever they see that you have your little medal that said that you went to Earth, she said that other souls are standing around. It's like, oh, great, great. And it's not like it is on Earth. The more ribbons and medals you have, the higher ranking you get. It's not like that in spirit.
No.
In spirit, whenever you're with a new group of souls and they see that you've been to planet Earth, they're like, oh, how was it? Are you okay?
They're so funny.
Because it is a place where we come to master frequency or energy.
Or you experience. You come here to experience. And that's what it's all about. You come here to the earth to experience life.
Yeah. Earth is not for sissies. Well, I didn't get that memo.
Yeah.
Evidently.
You're
So vibratory vocabulary.
Exactly.
Every word, thing, person. So, for example, if I use the word money and I'm feeling negative when I use it, Liz is really good about talking about filters.
Yes.
So I'm just going to throw a word in front of it. It is your frequency filter.
Yeah, you can say that. Well, your filter is how you look at the world. It's like your little, I want to call it like a little glass or even like your little portal that you look at the world, and it's you and how life has impacted you. That's your filter. It's you. And so every day you have to just check in with yourself and see, like I said earlier in our broadcast, that, I was feeling a little down today, or I was upset about something, or I was mad about something else. I need to fix that. Because I'm responsible for how I feel. If I have no control over anything in my life, I am in control of myself.
100%.
And so this is that filter. So you clean it, you adjust it, and you just examine it.
And if you're sensitive like we are, and or empathic, and those words get thrown around a lot now. Yeah. And I feel like there are more sensitive, empathic, intuitive people because the veil between worlds is dropping faster and faster. It's getting thinner, and we're going into the fourth and fifth dimension in our lifetime.
So the vibrations are changing.
Yes.
And the frequencies are increasing.
Yes. And you will be more sensitive as a result of it. So therefore, your filter that is your signature is going to either be heightened or you will dumb it down. And you want to continue to be aware to heighten that filter so that every word you speak, think, and feel is a little bit higher than it was yesterday, a little more pure than it was yesterday, a little more kind than it was yesterday.
Well, you want to make sure that you give it that value that you want to give it. So if you're talking about money, Eddie, what value would you give it? What quality would you give it if it was a positive?
Well, the value and the energy I would give money now, knowing what I know at the ripe old age of 24, is it would be the essence of peace. I know what it is. It's the essence of connection.
Oh, I love that.
And for me, connection is love. Mm-hmm. It is harmonization with all things that feel like your purest soul energy pouring to you and through you and out to the world as your, quote, cup runneth over. Or your, Abraham would say, tuned in, tapped in, turned on. That's how it is for me now. I have a very different, I have a very different relationship with money now than I've ever had. As a matter of fact, historically speaking, every human does. Yeah. The difference is, the reason I think we're where we are in that subject by itself, and we'll talk about other subjects, we're not talking about money, we're talking about the vibratory frequency of money and how it affects you through your filter. Yes. And how to elevate it. Yeah. Again, the veils between worlds are dropping faster. So the more aware we are, we can be on the mountaintop and look back at every single stage of our relationship with money, with love, with career, with purpose, with our bodies. We have to do a whole show just on the body vibrational frequency.
Okay, I have something to throw out to you. Okay, so as you were talking, it came to me that what if it has always been there, that vibration that you want, and that now that you become aware of it, now you've just raised your frequency.
What do you mean if it's always been there?
Meaning that you don't have to, it's not in another place. The vibration and the frequency has always been there.
Yes.
It's just that now that your filter is clearer.
Yes.
And you have shifted and changed your mind and your thoughts in regards to money. Now you've opened yourself up to this vibrational frequency and this realm. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, more abundance, more wealth, more opulence, more connection.
Well, yeah, exactly. And that like in the non-physical, vibration attracts vibration.
Yes.
So you're attracted to people of like vibration.
Ooh.
That's where you go to. It's like little worlds, where people of a vibratory state is in one place. They all share that same
Little
vibrational
state. Islands.
And then they're like worlds. And so then you're other people over here that you go where you are resonating at that level. You would never go to another place where they have a higher vibratory state because you couldn't get in, because like attracts like. You'll be missing it. Does that make sense?
It does. If you can say all day long that I want to be here, here, and here, if you're not vibrating it, feeling it, owning it, you can't get into that.
So that's what
club.
I'm saying. So
there's a great teaching tool. There's a gentleman that was up at one of the local amusement parks around Los Angeles, and a mother and a daughter were out shopping and having fun and having a mother-daughter day. And out of nowhere, this thug runs by, grabs their purse, both purses, and takes off, goes downstairs, gets in his car, and he's taking off down the freeway. And now this mother and daughter, their whole day is ruined. And as this robber is on the freeway, he's flying down the freeway and he sees a car in front of him overturn and slide upside down and then crash into the wall. And now it's blocking traffic. And then he jumps out of the car, runs over there, and it's a mother and a daughter. And he pulls them to safety. And in the interim, the people up at the park got his license plate number. And now the police come onto the scene and they arrest him for stealing the 2 pocketbooks from the mother and the daughter at the park. At the same time, he is the exact same person who pulls a mother and daughter from their car to safety so they didn't die.
Yeah.
So why would this one person who's vibrating up and down and up and down and up and down, how is it one mother and daughter get robbed and the other mother and daughter get saved by the same person? It's because the mother and daughter that were at the parks frequency, their filter, their output, their words, which create their reality, pulled something to them that was a match to where they were down here versus the frequency and the words and the thoughts and the feelings of the mother and daughter in the car who had a bad experience but were rescued. Their thoughts, feelings, and frequencies were higher. So that's why it doesn't matter where you go and who's around you, you will pull to you, manifest into your experience. What you are. You can't not pull to you anything but what you are, moment by moment by moment. And often because we're on the earth plane and it's about words and action, usually you have to pay attention to the power of the words you use to create continued ease and peace of mind and freedom and joy and happiness on the planet, because that's what you want. And you're here to share that with everybody else too.
I agree.
So what about programming? Do you believe that when you use certain words that you can program yourself consciously or unconsciously, or both?
Yeah, I think both. I think that as we grow up, we're programmed by our parents, and then we accept that programming. And then as you get older and you become wiser and become more aware, you begin to shift and change that programming, hopefully.
Yes.
Hopefully. Not everybody does. Again, we talk about the observer and about look at your own actions. But I also think that, You are programmed, but you can also program yourself for the positive.
That's what I just wrote down here.
Exactly.
You are always programming you, for you, about you, for whatever reason.
I think it's Fatima Abate, who is an amazing mystic, modern day mystic from Brazil. I think it's 21 days that you have to program yourself, like day after day, and then it becomes permanent. You know,
there you go.
And then it becomes permanent.
Yeah. So you said 21 days.
I think it's 21 days, but I'll get back to everybody on that.
I'll get back to everybody. That's what I'm talking about. So, do you believe that if we don't consciously pick words, listen, I know I'm the one making it sound like work.
Yeah.
Homework. Oh my God.
But it's not.
It isn't. It is truly, it's light. And it's making a choice. Listen, when you go to a coffee shop, what do you order? Do you list all the things you don't want when you go there and say, well, I don't want this.
No.
Or do you ask for your Trenta iced caramel macchiato upside down old school ad shot with soy milk? I'm just saying. Or it's the same with words.
Yeah.
Why do we, in the restaurant called the universe, go, I don't want an a-hole. I don't want someone that's going to hurt my feelings. I don't want someone who doesn't have a job. We don't do that.
I don't want to have to take care of it.
Really.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody like it's almost the only area where we perpetually talk about what we don't want, honestly believing that we're going to get what we do want.
Because then you attract what you don't want.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
By default, every single time. So I believe that we are perpetually hypnotized. Mm-hmm. And if we're lucky, it's a high frequency hypnotization. I joke about this, and I'm dead serious about it. I am so susceptible as a sensitive person to programming, which is why I do not watch the news. Yeah. I do not read the newspaper. Yeah. I don't listen to the news on any of my mechanisms, and I deliberately keep higher hertz frequency music in the background when I'm home, because if I'm going to be hypnotized, I need to choose what I'm being hypnotized by. And I hate to say this, but over 90% of the human race is being shitmatized, copyrighted and trademarked here with Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. Or 90% of the population is accidentally being shitmatized by either propaganda or someone else's belief systems or someone else's agenda, even if the agenda is for you to go buy a certain cereal. So I could be driving down the road. If I stop choosing words and thoughts that are higher and more pure, or if I'm having just a day where I'm feeling a little tired in that moment, the minute we dip, we're susceptible to shitmatation, being hypnotized by other people's SHIT. We'll talk about where the word shit came from later.
Okay, it's fascinating. He's looking at me like, because I'm looking at him like, where did that come from?
And so if I have a dip, if I'm just a little tired or a little exhausted, or if I'm overextended, and I forget to hypnotize myself with words that are opulent and abundant, then I will become I hate to use the word victim, but I become the pawn in somebody else's hypnotized game or programmed game. Yeah. So I can be setting my car a little tired. If I hear a commercial on the radio for 22 seconds about the new Keebler, dip this cookie with coconut into some chocolate with add some pecans to it.
Or some milkshake with blah, 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 blah.
My ass will be at Vaughn's asking some nice clerk where those coconut macaroon dipped in chocolate little Keebler elf, what happened to the tree where they live cookies?
Yeah, it's true.
And so I'm like, wait a minute. I am no longer deliberately choosing my experience. I have become a byproduct of somebody else's program.
So that's why you don't want your children or yourself to watch hours and hours and hours of television. It's mind-numbing.
It's the number one tool next to the radio. Listen, we're going to freak your freak for a second.
Yeah.
And movies and your phone and your computer. It is TVs were the number one way to program an entire world to do what other people want you to do so that you don't think for yourself. Free thinkers are fewer and further between now.
True.
And
That's
they're
true.
free thinkers. You know what? Free thinkers are doing exactly what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We have to do a show. I'm always giving us so much
Let's
work.
write that down.
We have to do a show on heart activities. Activities that feel soul-tivities and heart-tivities. I'm not saying titties. I just want y'all to know that. I know my girls are all fluffy and furry, and you're looking at them through my sports coat. But so are Liz's. Liz Tivities. And the reason for it is the word you think, every single word will cause you to elevate up into higher consciousness, where you, free thinking, free feeling being that you are, will be on the receiving end of being at the right place at the right time with the right people in the right circumstances and situations, so that whenever that car accidentally hits a wall, you will be pulled out by somebody whose intention is up there with the words you have picked to choose for yourself. So you're not SHIT-YPNOTIZED by accident.
Yeah, and I just want to say one thing so we don't get distracted, but just ask yourself, and we are talking about power of your words with Liz and Eddie.
I'm Eddie.
And I'm Liz.
She is.
But ask yourself, after watching television, don't you feel drained? Do you feel exhausted? You just want to crash? I mean, I know half the time I'll be watching TV and I find myself asleep. I'm going, what? And I didn't do a lot that day. I'm going like, something to think about. That's all.
It is something
to think about.
And the importance of it is when you're watching something, are they using words?
Yeah.
Are they using vibration?
Yeah.
Do they have intention? Is there a deliberate intention with the words?
Yeah.
Is there a deliberate intention as to why the people who are sponsoring that show were sponsoring that show?
Yeah.
And so it's layers and layers and layers and layers and layers of other people's words, thoughts, feelings, intentions that either is supporting your vision for the kind of life you want, or it is taking from you the life that you want. Yeah. I'm a firm believer of this. The vibrational vocabulary of every word you think or speak or take action upon is either building a bridge to your happily ever after or is putting another brick in the wall preventing you from it.
Absolutely. Oh, so, my God, that's perfect.
Isn't that, I mean,
that's perfect.
We're either... Frederick Langbridge has one of my favorite quotes. Two men look through the same bars. One sees mud, the other stars.
I love that.
And all of us are both of those men. We all have the part that looks at the mud, and then we all have the part that looks at the stars. It's like choosing the words, the frequencies, the inspired action that causes us to see the stars, speak the stars, write the stars, think the stars, act the stars, dance the stars, harmonize with the stars. And we're taught to do the opposite. You got to drudge through the mud in order to get to the stars. Or I can set my big, fat, happy ass right here and look up at the stars and giggle. And then what am I going to pull to me?
You know, there's an old, I took Latin many years ago.
Say something in Latin.
Ad astra per aspera. And that says to the stars through difficulties. And it's a motto.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a motto many years ago.
Where'd that come from? The cabal? You can't get to the stars unless you suffer enough like I tell you to.
It's a very old saying, you know, that my Irish Catholic teacher who taught Latin would say that was our motto. And so as you say that, I think of that in my mind. I'm going, So even old ancient mottos and expressions, you need to question those.
Mm-hmm.
Because maybe you're saying it and you're thinking, oh, wow, this is so cool, whatever. But maybe it's not doing justice to you, right?
It isn't.
It isn't.
Well, and if in the last podcast we were talking about in magnetizing money,
Yeah.
some of us don't know that we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
And that sounds cryptic. It's super simple. Anything in your life that is not working for you the way you want it to work for you, then there's something you don't know that your soul is reaching for you to figure out, so that now you have the awareness to know it. And once you know the new level, the beautiful thing is you can never go back.
Yeah.
You evolve as
Yeah.
a humanity. You do not devolve.
Yeah.
And once you learn something new, you will constantly be presented with the new data that you learned energetically from the world around you, so you don't go backwards.
You don't repeat it again.
And if you do go backwards and you judge yourself, or you're using ugly words to talk to your subconscious mind, just stop. Be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
And purposefully choose. Like what Liz was talking about at the very top of the show. Whenever I find out that I'm just feeling a little bumpy or a little fatigued, I stop and I start choosing vocabulary. We'll call them power word lullabies. Mm-hmm. Love, ease, joy. Love, ease, joy.
Yeah.
And repeat them until you start feeling your frequency get a little higher, your energy get a little pure, your light get a little brighter.
I mean, you might even want to practice for yourself. Make a list for yourself that works for you. It doesn't necessarily work for me, work for Eddie, but maybe make a list for yourself and totally curate it for you. And as you do it, you can even keep a journal in your journey. And by the time you can go a week or 10 days, and all of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, let me look back at that.
Yep.
What a difference. And even the words may change.
Yeah, all
the words that you're writing down, oh my God, all of a sudden everything will begin to change.
And if they don't change, you need to know that there's something you don't know that you need to know.
So it's almost like an underlying operating system that you're not aware of.
Yeah, it's called the subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And we're big proponents of that, because the subconscious mind is a feeling program, a set of laws that you as a child learned through life from birth to your 7th birthday. So if you saw people in poverty and you saw people who didn't work well with others, if you saw people who were negative, then you are downloaded and hypnotized through osmosis. We'll call that osmosis right now. You're programmed through osmosis, innocently hypnotized by other people's beliefs that do not fit the frequency of your heart, your mind, and your soul, which is where the purest words come from. There's not a word on planet Earth that we've ever used to create our reality. I just realized. It is the feeling from whatever word or object. Finish the sentence for me, Liz, please. A picture.
No. What? Go ahead.
A picture is worth
1,000 words.
And when you speak in visuals.
Yeah.
Did you know that that's how animals respond to humans? They don't respond to our words. That when we start coming home from work, and we think of our pet at home, that pet receives a picture of us coming home.
But that's how humans, I think that's how humans communicate. They're just not aware of it.
They're not aware of it.
They're not aware of it. You have your energetic chakras.
Yep.
And when you're speaking and before the words are actually verbalized and communicated to another person, you've already communicated to that person in front of you what's going on.
And when you lose this body and you go back up into non-physical, you don't use words.
It's instantaneous. Yeah, it's not. It's instantaneous.
It's so fast you can't even say instantaneous because then it's already history and past.
So you can say it is.
Yeah.
It just is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What she said. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. I am Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Lyu.
And today's show is about the power of your words. It is our episode number 6. And we're going to talk now about the power of these 3 letters, 2 words, 3 letters, and they are I am. I am. Why are those 2 words so important to humanity, to your personal filter? Why is I am so important? And what can we do to purely amplify I am into higher frequency outcome?
Well, I think that I am, as I was talking to you earlier, the first time I am, it was the Bible. I mean, there's ancient mention of the I am. You know, if you notice that a lot of metaphysicians, when they meditate, they go, oh, they pray, they'll go, oh, God, Goddess, all that is, I am, blah, blah, blah. Because you are, I am God.
Yeah.
God is, I am.
One way.
So it's like the God tone. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Does that make sense, y'all?
Just, yeah.
It does.
Anyway, but I am. Because there is more than that.
And if you're just in the I am, tell me if this makes sense. When you're in the I am place and you're speaking, feeling, radiating the pure essence of what I am is meant on a soul level.
Yeah.
Or heart, soul level, spiritual level, and it's pure, that is enough to literally pull to you a better quality of life on earth. It is what follows those 2 words that it will put you in a high frequency, happily ever after hypnotized place, or a low frequency, poverty hypnotized place. And, you know, they don't teach us this in school. And there's a reason for that, too. But so I am, we talked about it in Magnetizing Money. When you say I am tired, I am exhausted.
Yeah.
I am sick and tired of the way this person behaves. Every time you start with I am tired, I am fatigued, whatever it is, the moment you do that, you start attracting more people, places, circumstances, and situations that match that frequency.
You just decreed this is your experience.
You have asked, decreed, intended.
This is it. This is my experience.
And before you finish the words, I am tired,
it's there.
The entire universe is conspiring unconditionally to bring you evidence of that decree.
Exactly.
And that's a downtrodden decree. Yeah. You want to elevate it up. So with I am, what are some fun I ams that feel like good vibratory vocabulary, good words? We don't believe in good words, bad words here, even though I put it in the script.
We got it. I got it.
So what are some good I am words?
I am love.
I am love.
I know I keep bringing that. I am love.
Well, there's a reason your subconscious keeps bringing it up, because it's important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am, I don't know. Yeah. I am perfect.
I am. Oh. See, I can't say that because I will trigger hypnotized asphalt disease from my past.
Okay, so for me,
that's me.
Yeah, but for me, perfection is. They say perfection is the eye of the beholder. But it is really true because, again, you give quality and value to that word. And you, as a human being, as God, Goddess, all that is, you are perfect because you've created this.
See, I'm going to be simple. I'm going to be like, I am one with the light.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I remember when I was watching the...
Or I am light.
Yes.
I am light.
See, I was raised Southern Baptist by a Bible-thumping, mean-ass grandma who would take her Bible belt and beat you with it. And, you know, she had the inside track to God. Nobody else did. And Jesus Christ, her Lord and Savior. And if you didn't believe her, just look at any of the 3,496 pictures of Jesus on her wall. And I remember I was with my best friend, Tim and Eddie. We were watching Shirley MacLaine's Out on a Limb. And I was Southern Baptist. Tim was raised in the church. Every time the doors opened for rehearsal, for choir practice, he was there. And we were watching Shirley MacLaine with William Hurd in the biopic Out on a Limb, where she's standing on the beach in Malibu. And he is telling her to say, she is saying, I am one with God. I am one with light. I am one with all that is. He said, okay, that's just how little you humans think of yourselves. And she's like, what you talking about, Willis? And he said, say, I am God.
Yeah, you're God.
And I remember wanting to crawl under Tim's sofa because I was terrified lightning was going to strike our television.
You're so funny.
Because of the way I was programmed to fear that word, and that word, God, was so up there that no human would dare ever think for a second they could be in the heart of it.
Yeah.
That was the power, that was the authority, and you better keep your mouth shut. And it took me years to get to the point where I could say, I am one with the light. I am light. I am one with God. I am an extension of God.
For me, it's like, I think maybe working with a few teachers, and I am God seems very
So how were you raised? Let's go to birth to 7 years old.
So
what was
I
your
was
program
Catholic.
about God? Okay.
Catholic.
Ooh.
And there was always something that I knew was I'd go to church with my parents, but I had my own personal experience with God. Let's put it
you
that
kept
way.
to yourself.
That I kept to myself.
Same here.
So when I was very young, I, unlike the rest of my family, I would be the only one who wanted to join the choir. And then I started to have, as I told you, dream visions, and my dreaming life when I was from very young to even to today is very lucid. And when I was very young, I would have dreams of God. I would have dreams of voices singing about God, and spiritual poetry speaking about God. For many, many, many years this happened. And I'd wake up and I'm going, what the hey was that? But I wasn't particularly religious, on the outside. But in my dream life, it was all about that.
Unity, connection one with
to God. And but it was just something I just accepted. I just assumed everyone was like that.
Well, I did too, until I watched, and then I learned and knew better. Because it wasn't safe to talk about it.
No, you don't talk about it.
And I think the reason your spirit wanted you in choir was because there is a unity and harmonization with frequency with choir. So as the choir, it's tonal frequency vibration under the umbrella of the intention. What it's supposed to be, the authentic intention was supposed to be. And so all of that was magnified and amplified and multiplied. Oh, that was good. And you were wanting to be part of that community, unity, oneness. And so, again, we were marching to the beat of our own drums at an early age. So back to even the word God, the word light to me is the same as God.
Oh, me too.
Love and light. It is God. So it was easier for me to say I am one with light. I am light. I am one with all that is, because I never heard that term, all that is, meaning God, when I was a kid. So I replaced the innocent, SHIT-YPNOTIZED beliefs that God was taught to me as. And I knew in my heart, like you did, that God was unconditionally loving, pure, positive energy that loved everybody.
Because when I did see the regular, established religion, it didn't meet the frequency of the vibration. It didn't meet just the appearance of it, the way that they conducted themselves, this is not negative in any way.
It
It's
was
just
your
my
experience.
observation.
Yeah.
It's just my observation of me growing up and seeing that I was in Catholic school and going to church, and it didn't mix to what my dream life was, my personal relationship with God was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why.
And that's what sustained me.
Yeah. And then you became aware.
Yes.
And then you keep building on that awareness. And then what you didn't know that you didn't know that you didn't know, you started to learn about.
Absolutely.
You became cognizant of it.
Yeah.
And then you built on that as I did, which is what we want to help you with.
Yeah.
So I replaced the word God as soon as I understood it in my mid-20s with all that is, and love and light, and omnipotent, and different words that I had no history with. That kept me from believing I could not be one with that pure positive energy that creates worlds.
Yeah.
And that's when, as soon as I learned from my guides about the frequency or the vibration of every word, I immediately stopped using the word money, because for me personally, through my filter, it was a bad word that meant you have to kill yourself for just the little tiniest morsel. So I replaced the bad word for me, money, with a word I had never heard until I was almost 35 years old.
What was it?
Monetary.
Oh, interesting.
I never heard the word monetary. So you don't grow up hearing, when you're under 7 years old, monetary freedom doesn't exist in the universe. You hear money doesn't grow on trees.
Yeah.
You have to work hard to earn the money. So I replaced money, vibrates down here, that I was innocently hypnotized by in my asphalt childhood, to monetary, ease, and then abundance, wealth, esteem, prosperity, consciousness. Those were all new words that vibrated with my higher learning and my higher awareness. And now it's getting even higher. So we don't ever want to be complacent.
No.
Because when we get to the complacent place, there's never growth that comes from complacency.
No.
Ever. It comes from struggle. It comes from contrast, which doesn't have to mean conflict or combativeness or horrible stuff. Contrast could be anything from here to here, the good, the bad, the light, the dark, and then you choosing to stay in the awareness of the part that feels the best to you. So there are good words and bad words, not really. You just want to replace the words that feel bad to you energetically with words that make you feel like you're in the eye and the heart of all that is love and light for you personally. And then when you use the term moving forward, I am, paint pretty adjectives, use pretty adjectives to paint beautiful pictures with the I am, so it's followed by something that feels good. And on that note, if you're just tuning in, you're watching Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. I am Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Lyu.
Today we're talking about the power of your words, and this is episode number 6 in our series. We want to give you 6 ways to, clean up your vibrational frequency. Right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Your vibratory vocabulary.
Yes, your vibratory vocabulary. Edit 1, 2. Start that again. Okay, here we go. 6 ways to clean up your vibratory vocabulary. Number 1. And this is really sincerely important. And it's easy, hard.
Yeah.
Say it with me. Easy, hard. Turn off your TV.
Yeah.
Honestly, turn off your TV, turn off your phone, turn off your computer, turn off your radio.
Yeah.
If what is coming out of it is language, words, an agenda, an intention that does not make you feel like the love and light you are.
And if it gives you anxiety,
turn it off.
Turn it off.
If it gives you anxiety, turn it off, and then do what Liz was talking about in the beginning. Where does this come from? How does this make me feel? One of the things we talked about in a previous podcast was this. Every minute, every 1 to 3 minutes, I will ask myself, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
How does it make me feel? And can I elevate it? So if I'm watching one of the local political figures spew out what they're spewing out like a Jackson Pollock fecal diarrhea. I'm just saying that in a negative way. I turn off the TV and I'm saying, why am I triggered by this? So what am I thinking? Something that doesn't feel good. How does it feel? Like crap. Then how do I elevate it? By taking inspired, which is a feeling, action, and then replacing it with an I am that empowers the light and love that's in my heart, my mind, and my soul, that was here before my physical body got here. I am more aware than the message I just heard. I am going to choose a higher thought than what I am receiving. I am going to deliberately breathe the light into my body so that I elevate my consciousness. And by those 3 breaths, you can literally change your life.
Yeah, absolutely. You can change your life.
So what is number 2?
Use high frequency adjectives.
Do you know why I like that?
Why?
Hold on, let me do it again.
Why?
Okay, there you go. Move forward. There you go.
Why?
Bobby. Why do we want to use high frequency adjectives? Because a picture is worth
a million words.
It is. Look at her shaking it up, y'all. Look at her elevating her awareness and her consciousness. You want to use high frequency adjectives. Adjectives are words that describe something.
That's right.
So you can say, I appreciate money, or you can throw 1 or 2 adjectives in there. More that feels like what? I love, appreciate, adore. I am excited about extra monetary ease. Oh, did you see what we did there, y'all? So let's do it with relationship.
Okay.
I like relationships. My girdle just popped. You see my stomach roll out there? My middies lay across my... Work with me, girl. You know they're watching your hands under the table.
Uh-oh. Okay, so look.
Relationship.
Okay, so relationship.
Relationships for me are...
What?
I'm asking you.
Are you asking me? I was going to ask you. Okay, relationships. That's not a good one. I know.
Okay, good.
I am.
Good.
No, I can tell that's not a good one for me.
So replace it.
Yeah.
So relationship vibrates a little low.
Yeah.
And so she's going to replace the word relationship that feels a little bumpy with a word called... Can't use love.
I know I communicate well with other people.
Ooh, what kind of other people, Liz?
Okay. I communicate well with my partner.
Ooh.
I communicate well with my husband.
Yes.
I communicate well with my daughter. I communicate well with my mother, my father, and all that is.
There you go. Now, did you see what happened there? She took a word that had a little contradiction in it.
Yeah.
She dropped it without judgment. She dropped it without an agenda. She allowed the word relationship to go hibernate in a cave. And then she started to compound and replace the word with communicate with her partner, with her lover, with her husband, and then everybody that's important to her. And then the energy started to move up.
Yeah, you can feel it.
You can feel it. And that's
it's very tangible.
And that's where the power of words comes from. They are either power high or disempowering low. So what about career? A lot of people will put so much emphasis. So listen, I worked a lot of jobs I did not like in the beginning because I'm a responsible person and I want to pay my bills. So I was slinging tacos at Taco Bell.
Yeah, I was selling donuts.
I was selling. How come I didn't know you then?
That was a short job.
Yeah. There's something about the profit margin there. I worked at Taco Bell. I worked at a soda shop. Thank God I didn't have to wear roller skates and a tube top.
And a tutu? I thought you were going to say tutu.
No, roller skates and a tube top. Yeah. And I've loaded trucks. I've had to shovel poo-poo on ranches and stuff. Even if you're working at a job you don't think or feel right now is your life purpose, like fast food, been there, done that, loading trucks, been there, done that. It doesn't matter what it is, doing inventory for other stores, whatever it is. Your power is always in the moment, and your power is in the I am frequency within that moment.
That's right.
So regardless of what I was doing later, whether I liked it or not, I would pretend in my words that I owned stock in that company that I worked for. I pretended that I was going to make more money over my salary if I did a good job. And then I would use power words to interact with the clients and the customers and the patrons. And when you do that, there's a level of pride frequency and that connectability. And I'm going to use your word back, a power word, pure communication, joyous communication, joyous connection. That's what authentic communication is. It's a love and light that it speaks louder than words can.
That's true.
And so if you're at a job you don't like right now, start playing with the essence of the words that feel really good to you in your solar plexus.
Keep that in your journal.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
So that's using high frequency adjectives. Number 3 is drop outdated words that feel bad, which you just beautifully did. She was using the word relationship. That word has been drug and beat up and bounced around and abused and used. Not by her specifically. I'm not being psychic right now, but we'll talk after the show's over.
Yes.
Okay, y'all? So drop outdated words. An outdated word for me was money. I replaced it with monetary ease, wealth, esteem, connectability, light, and love. And yours was relationship, and you replaced it with
communication
and connectability. Number 4 is think and speak in beautiful pictures.
So that's visualizing again.
It is. Yeah. Even when you're having a conversation with the person in front of you, if you're speaking in pictures that feel good, great to you emotionally, you're going to draw that person in as if they're watching a movie unfold that is a movie they really love. So what's a good example of thinking and speaking in beautiful pictures? Talk about your grandbaby.
Oh, he is such an effervescent soul. He really is. So so you think about that energy of the thing that you're wanting to talk about.
Yes.
And then you give the value and the quality to that word, and then you speak it out.
And then for me, with him, he is effervescent. He's animated. He is eager, like the most eager I've ever seen.
Yes.
He is a studier of faces and energy. He drinks in everything that's going on around him, and he assimilates it very quickly and then gets triggered and animated very quickly by his assessment moment by moment, second by second, minute by minute. And this level of joy comes out of him so consistently. It's like Old Faithful.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Such a nice, sweet little thing.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay, number 5 is what?
Use I am with deliberate intention. And then I think that we've been talking about that from the very beginning of the show.
Yes.
And Eddie's been quite, he's been speaking about this, I think, from the get-go, sister. He constantly speaks about intention. So intention and deliberately speaking out what it is that you want. So give us an example, Edward.
Of speaking out the I am.
Deliberately speaking out in intention with the I am.
Even if you don't use the word I am.
Yeah, you don't even have to use that.
You don't. If you're just driving down the road, let's say your conscious mind is focused on getting you from point A to point B, like from home to work. If you don't have a deliberate I am thought, then you will become one with whatever song's on the radio.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever product they're selling, whatever agenda they're pushing, whatever pandemic they're warning you about, whatever thing you can't do now. If you don't have to speak I am, because you are
the I am. Yeah, you are it.
As the I am, you want to, every 1 to 3 minute, deliberately, consciously take the I am experience to your love and light space and create an intention with it, so that you are not programmed or hypnotized by someone else's good or bad.
Yeah.
Your I am is the unconditional love and light awareness of all that is, that doesn't pick sides.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that too.
And number 6 of the 6 ways to clean up your vibratory vocabulary is speak your desires from that pure feeling place. Space. Now, I'm a firm believer your feelings create your reality.
Yeah.
Not your action, not your words.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, but I look at this is where we're.
She's like,
right. No, I mean, I do believe that your thoughts and feelings create your reality, but there needs to be action taken behind it. And I think we're saying the same thing.
Low grade action or inspired action?
Well, I think that if your thoughts and feelings are inspired, then your actions will automatically follow through.
And if they're not inspired?
Well, then your thoughts and feelings weren't inspired.
Boom, which means you will manifest what you do want or
what you don't prefer. But then again, that's what I'm saying. I feel that you need to have action there in order to accomplish the goal. You need to have thoughts and feelings and need to take action on those. And that will give you what you want. You can't just have these two things and not have the other. You need to have, it's actually all the same thing. It's all one thing.
Yeah, and so
because we live in a physical world, you need to take action.
But also remember this, for me, my belief.
Yeah.
I thought action created 99.99.9% of my life. I thought being a good person while I was taking the action and working my tukukas off, working 3 jobs, making minimum wage, and not able to pay $350 a month in rent was 99.99% of what created my reality. I literally believe to the core of my being, oh, that's important, right? The core belief that I had, which is a feeling, reality, that's a lie, but it was my truth at the time. Was that if you don't bust your ass, you will never make anything of yourself on planet Earth. So when I first learned in my mid-20s, 25, 26, that your action only creates 0.01% of your outcome. It is how you feel when you're taking the action, hence inspired action, that creates 99.99.9% of your reality. And I was livid when I first heard that, because I felt like I'd already wasted 26 years of my life, being 4 years old and chopping wood and slopping the hogs and hauling water in from the well. That I was like, oh my God, I've wasted all of this time.
But you didn't.
I know that now. But child, you couldn't tell me nothing when I was 26. I was thin and cute and didn't even know it. I didn't know what I didn't know to know until I learned it and evolved, and then started living life from the new platform in that evolutionary process of choosing continuous I am beingness. I am words that match the next stage I wanted to be in as a person who wants to give out great content to other people, so they don't end up in the same kind of pickles that we did.
Well, let's just say for people who don't like to use I am, because there are people who don't. But basically what we're saying is that if you're thinking and feeling high frequency thoughts and you take action behind it, you have inspired, I love that, inspired action, inspired thoughts, inspired feelings. That's what you want ultimately. That is your goal.
Yes.
To create what you want in your life.
And a lot of people think when you first come into vogue with all of this information we're sharing, that the minute you become a conscious creator, a deliberate creator, someone who understands law of attraction, that you never, ever have another bad day in your life.
Oh, perfect.
And it is not true.
Yeah.
What is true is, yes, you will have a bad day. It's what you then choose to do with it in your new awareness. Are you going to choose a higher frequency set of words that activate and ignite a higher frequency, aka reality? Or are you going to default back to your old place of not being aware?
Yeah, because you're constantly, no matter what, every moment to moment, you're committing to something. You're committing to not committing. You're committing to this, and you're not committing. By not committing to this, you're committing to this thing over here. Either way, you're committing to something.
When you choose not to choose, you're choosing.
Yeah.
When you choose to, when you get new information and then you choose to go back to the old way, you have chosen to deliberately go backwards.
Exactly.
By not choosing.
Because your choice is, I mean, if you don't know the information, that's one thing. But yes, Eddie's absolutely correct. When you do know the information, what are your choices?
That's right.
You either do something about it or you shut your pie hole.
Yeah.
Right?
I like pie. There's a place here in LA called House of Pies.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, child, what's your favorite kind of pie?
Oh, apple.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so basic.
I know, basic.
But you like ice cream with it?
Yeah.
I do. I like ice cream.
Has to be
apple
a la
pie a la
mode.
mode. Look at her all fancy pants over
Okay,
there.
but once in a while, if it's a fresh apple pie and it's hot, then
With cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Then that's what I want. Just that. No ice cream.
Yeah. I get that. Vanilla bean ice cream with fresh apple pie with cinnamon with a really thick crust that's homemade from scratch.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
See, we're painting pictures with words now. You feel it? Can you smell it? Maybe I'll attract an apple pie instead of a Ford Pinto on the way home today.
Or maybe a pie baker.
Well, I don't get it.
Somebody who can bake you a pie.
Ooh, that just wears an apron in the kitchen. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hold on. Let me get a visual.
Stop that.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of the great tools we want to give you today is Power Word Lullabies. And it's super, super simple. You pick 3 words every night as you're falling asleep. You pick 3 words that you have no resistance to and that make you feel good. And in replacement of the word money, which can be that contradicted or contradicted energy, I sometimes will use these 3 words: ease, freedom, and joy. So as I'm falling asleep, think of lullabies: ease, freedom, and joy.
And these are like affirmations. Same thing as affirmations.
And you choose 3 words that are affirmative, that feel like the light and love in your soul.
Yeah.
The light and love in your soul. And as you're falling asleep, you're programming the conscious, subconscious, and superconsciousness. You're programming the atoms, the cells, and the molecules. Yeah. And you're programming yourself, not just for the next day, but for the rest of your life. And one of my favorite books is Dr. Joseph Murphy's The Power of the Subconscious Mind. Game-changing, life-changing book, like all of our great spiritual teachers.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Joseph Murphy's been around for almost 100 years. I had no idea the level of it. Immediately in the first chapter, I started having epiphanies and revelations and understandings about why I was doing the work.
Yeah.
I kept doing the work, and I was just getting a breath along. And then once I read this book, I quantum game changer, quantum leaped, and then the entire trajectory of my life purpose changed from that moment. Just like this pandemic, that from the time the pandemic hit in February of 2020, and I started doing my research and homework, I went to a bunch of rabbit holes, came up and said, the future for me personally has to be get your butt on the air, start sharing ways that free thinkers can get back to feeling good so you're not accidentally hypnotized by what you don't want.
Exactly.
And to help people get back to that center. Dr. Joseph Murphy and the Power of the Subconscious Mind. And that's where I came up with the idea of power word lullabies. If you just fall asleep repeating love, light, and joy. Love, light, and joy. Say it with me, girl.
Love, light, and joy. Love, light, and joy. I mean, you can feel it changing your energy.
Yes, and if you do it for 68 solid seconds at a time, by the end of that 68th second, Abraham Hicks would say, you now are 2 million. I saw you almost yawning. 2 million
Let me get my coffee
hours worth of pure positive action hours worth of labor
cut that part out.
Oh, no, please, child, because I'm going to be doing that sometime down the show. You'd be like, clock a gate.
Okay.
That would be me, not her. Now, some people confuse us for being lovers.
I know.
But we're not. We just pie lovers. Oh.
Pie lovers.
Pie lovers.
And donut lovers.
We do love some donuts.
I have to tell you, we love some donuts.
We do. So we need to change that word, don't we?
Why?
You look so hurt. You're like, don't change the word donut. It's my friend and lover. It's my after hours companion.
That's my favorite go-to.
And then I get to see them again the next morning.
Exactly.
All right, everybody. We thank you so much. You've been watching Coming Out with Liz and Eddie. I am Eddie Connor.
And I'm Liz Lyuk.
This whole show has been about the power of your words, how to use power word lullabies, how to drop back into your love and light frequency and not be hypnotized by reality and be high frequency hypnotized by reality by choosing fantabulous words.
And I want to thank everyone for all your support of our show, Liz and Eddie, because we want to support you too.
Yes, and until we see you next time, please remember to keep those thoughts and feelings and frequencies high, fast, and pure so that you can unlock the universe within. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.